I wouldn't let my dear
Hello there, and welcome to episode 27 of Turning Tracks. My name is Matt.
And I'm Chris.
And we're here to talk about the music that we love. The choice for this episode was solely influenced by the celebration of 100 years of the Grand Ole Opry, the world's most famous country music stage, which has showcased yesterday, today, and tomorrow's country music stars for over a century. And while I love a good celebration, I would much rather talk about an artist who is part of a small list of country artists who have been banned from the Grand Ole Opry. Grab your off-white Stetson, pointy boots, and let's hit the honky-tonk, because tonight we talk about the music of Hank Williams Sr.
I wandered along where is and fears I claimed for my own. Then like the
Well, hey there, Chris.
Well, hey there, Matt. Happy
How are
New
ya?
Year.
Happy New Year. It's a brand new year.
It is. We got
Same.
snow down here, which is not something that happens very often.
Really?
Yeah. It used to happen all the time when I was a kid, but
Oh,
now it's like
yes.
we're lucky if we get like a dusting a year, and we actually got a couple inches. Took the kids sledding. It was a good time.
Oh, thank you, global warming.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it
not
reminded
real.
me of my childhood when we used to
Yeah.
get snow all the time.
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. I remember when I was a kid, there was a snowstorm. I don't know, I think it was like 13 or 14, and we got off from school, and then I was with my two friends. For whatever reason, they were at my house. I don't know why. And we decided to venture out. And I mean, I've always been a small person. I'm 5'7". I've always been short, but the snow was up to my waist. And I remember we walked out of my apartment building. We took a right to walk to the main road, which is Gun Hill Road. And then I don't know what we thought we were going to do, but we were like, nope, turn around, let's go back. And I remember we all had to put our clothes on the radiator. And like, I had to give my friends like my sweatpants to wear around the house. But like, those snowstorms are gone. Like you said, you used to get, it reminds you of your childhood and stuff. And I agree with you. But now, like, I know I have a dog, so I'm kind of like, that's fine if it doesn't snow, but it also is a sign of something worse.
Yeah, that's the thing. Hopper's been, I haven't been able to take him for as many walks or even as far, just because, there's snow everywhere and I don't want to hurt his little paws. But also, like, tonight, when I would have taken him out for a walk, it was like 18 degrees. I'm like,
God.
just no. Like, it took you for a walk this morning. We have a backyard. You can take care of whatever business you need to take care of. I'm just not doing this. I'm just not going out in 18-degree weather.
I'm envious of you, because when we walk the dog in the morning, it'll say, oh, it's 18 degrees, but it feels like 9, And you're like, I hate you.
It feels like sorrow.
It feels like cold death. Anyway, for anyone who's new to the show, here's how it works. Each episode, Chris or myself picks a band or an artist, and that person then has to choose 10 tracks, and 10 tracks only, that they believe best represent that band or the artist. We listen to them, we discuss them, and that's how it goes. So tonight was my choice for this episode, and as I said on the opening, I leaned very heavily into the idea that it's been 100 years of the Grand Ole Opry. Now, Chris, you mentioned you're not familiar with any of this.
Not overly, yeah. I'm really not. I don't even know what the Grand Ole Opry is.
I know I'm going to sound like a jerk when I say this, but really, have you ever heard the term the Grand Ole Opry, or?
I have
just
heard
not
the
familiar?
term Grand Ole Opry many times. I always just assume it was people intentionally mispronouncing the word opera, but then I saw it typed out, and I was like, oh, so that's just what it's called. I don't know what that means.
I'm not going to dive into the history of the Grand Ole Opry. I would love to say that you are absolutely right, that's exactly how it originated. But the Grand Ole Opry, if I am not mistaken, it started out as a radio broadcast out of Nashville, Tennessee, and eventually grew into what it is now, which is an actual brick and mortar building in Nashville with a very storied stage. It's in some cases it launched the careers of some of the biggest country artists that you may or may not know. In others, it's hosted just countless artists, of country music. Elvis has been on that stage, of course.
Dolly
Johnny Cash.
Parton's been involved in this in some way, right?
Yes, ma'am. You name it, the Carter family, and of course Hank Williams Sr. So the reason why I felt this made sense is because obviously, like I said, 100 years of Grand Ole Opry. Technically speaking, the 100-year anniversary was in November, but they're going to be using 2025 as the year to celebrate its centennial. So we'll get into a bit of how do I say this? We'll talk about it. I'm not going to go crazy detail. I always think that if this interests or excites you, by all means, there's tons of resources on the internet, and you probably got an uncle or something that knows about it. So if you want to dig deeper, by all means, go for it. And I'll just dive into Hank Williams Sr. and we'll eventually get around to him getting banned. Born Hiram King Williams on September 7, 1923, American singer-songwriter. He is regarded as one of the most significant and influential American singers and songwriters of the 20th century. Williams recorded 55 singles that reached the top 10 of Billboard country and western bestseller charts, 5 of which were released posthumously, and 12 of which have reached number 1.
I've never heard that word pronounced that way.
How do you say it? Because I'm probably wrong.
I just heard posthumously. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
There's nothing like riveting internet search, to let's posthumously.
Posthumously, yeah.
Okay, well, I got nothing. I always thought it was posthumously. Well, posthumously. I don't know what to do here. Anyway, I'm gonna bail out.
That's it. I'm leaving.
Well, show's over, guys. 5 of which were released posthumously, and 12 of which have reached number 1. There, I'll just edit it together, and no one will ever know. And again, without going into great detail, he was married at some point. His then wife, was part of his performing act, where once he started to gain some notoriety and popularity, he had a radio program. He would appear with his wife on the radio program. Eventually, she left him, divorced him, and he spent the remainder of his years effectively being an alcoholic, had a prescription drug problem. But that's in part to a bad back. He was born with spina bifida. And then when Americans were being drafted to World War II, he couldn't be drafted because of the back issues. At some point, he was doing a rodeo. I read he was in a rodeo and got bucked from either a bull or a horse and hurt his back again. And you would think that someone with spina bifida would maybe think twice, but I don't know. You could have all the brains in the world, but using them, not so much. So, and at the age of 29, he suffered heart failure and died unexpectedly in the backseat of a car near Oak Hill, West Virginia, en route to a concert in Canton, Ohio, on New Year's Day, 1953. If there's nothing more outlaw country about that death, I don't know what is. Apart from getting murdered, perhaps. Being murdered is the only other way to go as an outlaw countryman, I suppose. But I guess drinking and drugging yourself to death is, very close second. And last bit I'll read here. Despite his relatively brief career, he was one of the most celebrated and influential musicians of the 20th century, especially in country music. Many artists have covered his songs, and he has influenced Chuck Berry, Elvis Presley, Waylon Jennings, Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan, and the Stones, among others. He's included in the Country Music Hall of Fame. He was inducted in 1961. Inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1970, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, the Native American Awards Hall of Fame in 1999, and gained a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2010. He was also posthumously. I have to say it again. He was also posthumously awarded a Pulitzer Prize special citation for his, quote, craftsmanship as a songwriter who expressed universal feelings with poignant simplicity and played a pivotal role in transforming country music into a major musical and cultural force in American life, end quote. Talk about craftsmanship of sentences and simplicity, not so much. Okay, so very quickly. Hank Williams was fired from the Grand Ole Opry. He had a kind of a standing performance. He was fired in 1952 after missing a scheduled appearance due to his heavy drinking. I like what I read here, so I copied it. The decision was intended to be a wake-up call, not permanent. Hank Williams will not be reinstated as a member of the Grand Ole Opry. The Grand Ole Opry's vice president and executive producer Dan Rogers has stated that there are no plans to reinstate Williams. And I don't know what it is about that makes me laugh and then kind of go like, yeah, F you. There's been many campaigns over the years. So Hank has a son who's taken on the name Hank Williams Jr. Most notably has a song called Family Tradition about drinking and drugging. For people who are not familiar with country music, you might remember him from Are You Ready for Some Football? He did the theme to Monday Night Football for a very, very long time. And then Hank has a grandson who goes by the name of Hank 3. And the crazy part is Hank 3 sounds exactly like his grandfather. He looks like him too, actually. But Hank 3 is he's a real rebel. Like, I've seen him perform live because I had a friend who was really into him. So he dragged me, and I thought it was a very interesting show. He's like a country artist who's like a punk. So he's like punk country. It was a very interesting juxtaposition of styles. Certainly a very interesting evening. But I digress. Now, are you familiar with any of Hank Williams' music at all?
So I didn't think that I was, but then when I was gathering the tracks together for this episode, obviously I didn't listen to them, but I had heard snippets of most of them, and a couple of them I was like, I know this song. I don't know this version of it, but I've heard them sung by like Johnny Cash or sung by George Thorogood or something like.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm familiar with. I'm obviously familiar with some of it to some extent, though I don't know that I've ever heard the original versions. So that's kind of exciting.
That's great. I look forward to this. Yeah. If you're not, for the uninitiated, Hank Williams may sound like a novelty. His recordings that we're going to be listening to are from the very early 50s. And, you can imagine that the landscape isn't as, vast as the musical landscape is nowadays. So, again, for the uninitiated, it might sound a little novelty. But, recognize that this is, kind of the granddaddy of country songwriting and country in general, to some extent. He really goes on the proverbial Mount Rushmore. So, at any rate, I think we should just dive right in. The first track we're going to listen to is called 6 More Miles to the Graveyard. This is a song that I actually wasn't familiar with until I put the episode together, and I had to listen to it like 3 or 4 times because I said to myself, like, wow, I can't believe this is a song that exists that I've never heard before in the Hank Pantheon. I just thought it was fantastic. So, that being said, we're going to listen to 6 More Miles to the Graveyard off of an album entitled Sings from 1951. Enjoy.
Oh, the rain is slowly falling, and my heart is so sore. 6 more miles and leave my darling never on this earth to need no more. 6 more miles to the graveyard. 6 more miles long and sad. 6 more miles and leave my darling, leave the best friend I ever had. I hear the train a-comin', bringing my darling back home. 6 more miles to the graveyard, then I'll be left here all alone. 6 more miles to the graveyard, 6 more miles long and sad, 6 more miles, and leave my darling, leave the best friend I ever had. Miles to the graveyard, 6 more miles long and sad, 6 more miles, and leave my darling, leave the best friend I ever had.
That was 6 More Miles to the Graveyard by the immortal Hank Williams Sr. And as I mentioned, for the uninitiated, I think you can kind of understand why I say that Hank Williams' music, albeit a very specific pinpoint in recording and time, can sound like a novelty, but you know, you can kind of see it as the blueprint for what eventually comes. So, Chris, what did how's that sit with you?
It was lovely. It was you know, obviously you know how I feel about old lower fidelity recordings like that, or I know that fidelity isn't really maybe the word I was looking for, but those really just kind of put me in a happy place. It was a very, very relaxing song. I liked it quite a bit.
Yeah, and right. We've had that conversation before. Low fidelity, the production value, really. Even though I don't know that I have to get my date straight because I can't remember when Les Paul invented multi-track recording. Nope, I lied. Tommy Dowd. I just failed audio engineering school. I gotta double check when multi-track recording was invented and then established, because you know, for the most part, if you've ever seen something like Oh Brother Where Art Thou, they effectively just set up a microphone in a room and then they put all the loud instruments in the back and the soft instruments up front, you know, like a class photo. So yeah. a lot of these tunes were recorded just that way, you know, a couple guys around a microphone, and you know, they play it back and go, all right, bass, you need to move back 1.5 feet, or you know, vocals and lean in more or whatever. Shit, excuse me, I'll cut that out. So to your point about it being like kind of a very chill song, you know, I know you don't get a chance to really pick up the lyrics immediately, but as is with a lot of Hank Williams' more popular stuff, there's a lot of like heartbreak and loneliness and lyrics of wanting and pining and stuff, and of course, this episode's gonna be just brimming with it. So this particular track is not what do you call it? Is not far from that. If I may, this record is actually called Hank Williams Sings. I don't know where I got the name that it's just called Sings, but it's Hank Williams Sings, released November 9th, 1951.
I pulled this specific recording from something called Hank Williams The Original Singles Collection Plus.
I mean, yeah, That's the song. I'm just saying that its original release was on a
Right.
record called. All right, so moving right along, we're gonna keep this trainer rolling with all these very uplifting and wonderful titles. The next one we're gonna listen to is called "I Just Told Mama Goodbye," and as you can imagine, this is another wonderfully uplifting piece of music by the immortal Hank Williams Sr. This comes off of Hank Williams Sings, also from the same record as a previous, 1951. This is I Just Told Mama Goodbye. Enjoy.
Each year on Mother's Day, the rose I wore was red, but today I'm saying my first prayer. Mama's lying on her dying bed. I just told Mama goodbye. Mother's Day has turned to night. Like the flowers in May, she withered away, and my red rose is turning white. This is the dreaded hour we all must face someday. Yet there's consolation in my heart. She will bloom in the Master's bouquet. I just told Mama goodbye. Mother's Day has turned to night. Like the flowers in May, she withered away, and my red rose is turning white. Her time has come to go, and there's nothing I can do. Only hold her hand and say goodbye. Mama's day with her children is through. I just told Mama goodbye, and knelt beside her bed. I heard her say, I'll meet you someday, where the white roses turn to red.
That was I Just Told Mama Goodbye off of Hank Williams Sings 1951 release. And, I love a great uplifting song. And all I can say is if your mother's around, give her a hug, give her a kiss, tell her you love her. This is, in my opinion, very much so the quintessential old-timey, love and loss song. I just read something really funny. The biographer for Hank Williams, his name's Colin Escott, put it, dying mothers, quote, were to hillbilly music what fair maidens walking through the Dingley Dell were to English folk song. And I thought, that's a way of putting it. Chris, what's that do to you? What's that song do to you?
Well, it's kind of sad, like we've already talked about. This is just kind of the vibe that we're rocking with tonight. But I am not a country fan, generally speaking. But I think more of my distaste of country music comes from slightly more modern country music.
That's a very fair statement to make.
Older stuff like this, I really like this guy's voice. I find it extremely soothing. Like everything about this is very It's soothing probably because it feels so nostalgic. You know,
Okay.
it's nostalgia for a time that I wasn't really around for.
I get that.
It just seems like everything is so much simpler when this music was being made, but also the themes of it aren't necessarily irrelevant by today's standards,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. So, yeah, I again rather enjoyed it.
That's, you make a very fair point, right? Lyrics and themes will always be something that will transcend whatever the musical genre soup du jour is, right? That's why I think we're able to listen to stuff that was made 50, 60 years before we were even born. To your point, right? Having a nostalgia for a time that I don't right-handedly know. But yeah, absolutely. Last time I checked, everyone has a mother. And life is life. So we won't dive too much deeper into that. I think everyone who listens to the show is moderately smart, although you are listening to the show, so I do question your judgment. That being said, we're going to move right along to probably one of my favorite songs of all time. This song has been covered 1,000 times. Once, of course, by the immortal Johnny Cash. I don't know why I said immortal like that, but it's the immortal Johnny Cash. This is I'm Some Lonesome.
Because you also called Hank Williams immortal, like, just a few minutes ago.
Well, he is. I mean, they're immortal together. They're living on an island with Tupac. I mean, come on.
They're all just there making extremely different music.
Yes, and we'll never hear it. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. This is I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry. It comes off of the record entitled 20 of Hank Williams' Greatest Hits, which was released in 1997. As I was talking to Chris prior to recording the show, I felt that this recording had a slightly better fidelity to it. And that's the only reason I chose this 1997 version of this song. Again, it might have been mixed and mastered, 1,000 times over at this point. So anyway, here's I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry by Hank Williams Sr. Enjoy.
Hear that lonesome whippoorwill. He sounds too blue to fly. The midnight train is whining low. I'm so lonesome I could cry. I've never seen a night so long when time goes crawling by. The moon just went behind the clouds to hide its face and cry. See a robin weep when leaves begin to die. Like me, he's lost the will to live. I'm so lonesome I could cry. The silence of a falling star lights up a purple sky. And as I wonder where you are, I'm so lonesome I could cry.
That was I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry by Hank Williams Sr. Like I said, probably one of my favorite songs of all time. And now that I've said that, Chris, what's your opinion on it?
It's definitely one of your favorite songs of all time.
Thank you for paying attention to me. I appreciate you.
No, it was who can't identify with that, right? So
Yeah.
Lonesome I Could Cry. It was, again, a sad song. Really same thing I said before about it, just feeling nostalgic and but also just kind of sad, and I like his voice, and it's just interesting because this is like, when I think of country music that I don't like, it's my dogs and my guns, and this guy is just like, he's just talking about his feelings, which I guess it just seems so out of place for what old school traditional manliness was back in the old days. It really just talking about how you feel about things. So again, it was an enjoyable couple of minutes of my life.
Well, that's what I'm here for, to make your life enjoyable a couple of minutes at a time. And with that, we'll shuttle right along. Next track is called Someday You'll Call My Name. This is off of Moanin' the Blues by Hank Williams Sr. It is another wonderfully uplifting piece of music, and I hope you all enjoy it as much as I do.
Get your dancing shoes on.
Oh no, I'm dying. I promise there are a couple of songs with more pickup. At any rate, Someday You'll Call My Name. Enjoy.
Someday you call my name and I won't answer. Someday you reach for me, I won't be there. For you've grown tired of all the love I gave you. But someday you'll wish that I still care. All of these years, how I've loved you. Still I know I claim you for my own. Someday you'll call my name and I won't answer. For someday you'll find yourself alone. When your hair has turned from gold to silver, and your eyes are dim by passing years, you'll remember, darling, what I told you. There'll be no one then to dry your tears. There'll come a time in your life, dear, when you'll need someone who will care. Someday you'll call my name and I won't answer. For someday you'll find that I'm not there.
Someday You'll Call My Name by Hank Williams Sr. off of Moanin' the Blues, 1952. As promised, another uplifting piece of music by granddaddy of country music. To your point, Chris, you mentioned the country music that you think of is, all about the trucks and the beer and the dancing and the yada yada. That's that modern pop country, and there's a lot of people that actually really hate it, despite how popular it is. So, for anyone that's interested in outlaw country, which is what this is kind of considered, there's quite a few modern artists that really don't sing about that stuff. Tyler Childers, Sturgill Simpson, and Chris Stapleton, to name a few, all fantastic voices. Between the three of them, they have quite a catalog of great country and, in some cases, bluegrass music. Sturgill Simpson, I think, redid 2 of his records in the style of bluegrass, so it gives it like a whole new feel. Very, very interesting. And then on top of that, Sturgill Simpson did an album that was effectively country and industrial music. It's very strange. Absolutely one of my favorite records of all time, though, but that's for a different show. So, I have a feeling you're probably going to repeat yourself when I ask you how you feel about it. So I'm going to save you, because the next one we're going to listen to, you know me, I tend to stay away from the big singles and stuff like that, but this next one is such a great song, it's so hard to stay away from. I'm talking about Your Cheating Heart. This comes off of Hank Williams' Memorial album.
It's Your Cheating Heart. You said Your Cheating Heart. You enunciated the G, and it's just not there, sir.
You, sir, are sleep deprived. I said Your Cheating Heart.
Oh, all right. I'm going to go back to the playback.
I'm talking about Your Cheating Heart. And you know what? I could have enunciated the G. Who the hell are you to tell me? No, I'm just kidding. At any rate, it's such a great track. It cannot be ignored. This is Hank Williams' Your Cheating Heart, off of Memorial 1953. Everyone, please enjoy this uplifting, wonderful track by Hank Williams Sr.
Your cheating heart will make you weep. You'll cry and cry and try to sleep, but sleep won't come the whole night through. Your cheating heart will tell on you when tears come down like falling rain. You'll toss around and call my name. You'll walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell on you. Heart will pine someday and crave the love you threw away. The time will come when you'll be blue. Your cheating heart will tell on you when tears come down like falling rain. You'll toss around and call my name. You'll walk the floor the way I do. Your cheating heart will tell on you.
That was Your Cheating Heart by Hank Williams off of Memorial 1953. I was reading a little bit about this just to kind of see if there was anything I may have missed, and I love what was written here. It is regarded as one of country's most important standards. I can't tell you how many covers there are I've heard so many different covers over the years. One of the things I just found out, however, was this song was recorded September 23rd of 1952 at Castle Studio in Nashville. The session, which would become Hank Williams' last session, recording session before his untimely death, also had some other songs, one of which we're going to listen to, Take These Chains From My Heart. I spared you last time, but how did this one grab you this time?
I know this song. I can't figure out which version I know, though. Like, I definitely have never heard this exact version before, and I don't know that I've ever heard Hank Williams sing it before, but I don't know which version I have heard, and I don't know where I heard it from. I have to assume I've heard this in some sort of movie or TV show or something at some point, but
you might be most familiar with, say, either Patsy Cline or Ray Charles. Those are probably the biggest.
Ray Charles, that's probably it. We have a bunch of Ray Charles records in this house that we listen. Karen puts those on semi-regularly, so that's probably what I know is the Ray Charles version. Cool,
Yeah.
that clears it up. It's a great song. You know, I'm sitting down here in my basement in front of my computer, and I just leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes and listened to the song. And there's just something that makes you want to recline while listening to this music. It's not danceable music. It's not overly sad. Like, there's sad themes to it, but there's just something super calming about it, at least to me. And this one is a classic for a reason.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, according to the Wikipedia page, there's only 4 recorded cover versions. But when you're a country classic standard, I mean, I don't know how many times the song's been covered, just at concerts and things like that. Again, most notably Ray Charles and Patsy Cline. But I digress. I agree with you, right? Like, this song is somber. It's definitely down tempo, but there's something very like thumbing your nose at someone, like, you messed up, and I hope it eats at you. And I just love that. I really love that kind of kind of finger, you know what I'm saying, like out the window as you speed away. Anyway, moving on. Here's a straight toe tapper that we all know and love. Again, very hard to stay away from the singles, because some of these are the songs that put Hank Sr. on the map, and just like the last one, total classic standard. This one's called Hey Good Lookin'. I think we're all very familiar with it. It comes off the 1953 Memorial album, Same as Cheatin' Heart. Put on your pointy boots and let's honky talk to some frickin' Hey Good Lookin'. Enjoy.
Say, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? Hey, sweet baby, don't you think maybe we could find us a brand new recipe? I got a hot rod Ford and a $2 bill, and I know a spot right over the hill. There's soda pop and the dancing's free. So if you wanna have fun, come along with me. Say, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me? ready so we can go steady. How's about saving all your time for me? No more looking, I know I've been cooking. How's about keeping steady company? I'm gonna throw my date book over the fence and find me one for 5 or 10 cents. I'll keep it till it's covered with age, 'cause I'm writing your name down on every page. Say, hey, good looking, what you got cooking? How's about cooking something up with me?
Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? Hank Williams Sr., 1953 Memorial album. It really doesn't get any sweeter than that, huh?
Look, I will preface this by saying I rather enjoyed it. I know that song, obviously. I've heard that song over the years in my life, but that is, without a doubt, by far the whitest song we've ever listened to on this show.
Oh my god. I'm dizzy. I've laughed myself dizzy.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
The minute I get all my breath and clarity back, I won't. Okay, look. Whitey McWhitenstein.
Look, I don't mean that as an insult. I'm just saying.
I know. Okay, look. I can't tell you how many times I've had an extremely white ex of mine ask me, "Hey, good looking, what you got cooking?" And then me just rolling my fucking eyes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yes, it is. It is officially the number one whitest song I've ever listened to. But it's impossible not to. It's Hank Williams Sr. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I can't do a Hank Williams.
It's a classic for a reason.
Yeah, you can't do an episode about Hank Williams Sr. without throwing that in there, because I don't want you to think that Hank Williams was incapable of not being a morose motherfucker. But, I mean, he's had a pretty shitty life, so take the small victories. Now,
and like, look, jokes aside, that's just a clever line, you know? Hey, good looking, what you got cooking? That's just clever. It just is. Nah, it is a very enjoyable song. I'm looking forward to this next one, though.
Move it on over.
See, I know the George Thorogood version of this, and I know it well because my mom listened to that all the time. I've never heard this version of it before, but I know this song very well.
The original, I love this song so much. It's got such a great message, and the lyrics are so great. All right. Also coming off the Memorial 1953 album, this is Move It On Over, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. Just listen to it, enjoy. We'll discuss when we get back.
Came in last night at 10:30. That baby of mine wouldn't let me in, so move it on over. Move it on over. Move it on over. Move it on over. Move over, little dog, 'cause the big dog's moving in. She's changed the lock on our front door. My door key don't fit no more, so get it on over. Move it on over. Scoot it on over. Move it on over. Move over, skinny dog, 'cause the fat dog's moving in. This doghouse here is mighty small, but it's better than no house at all, so ease it on over. Move it on over. Drag it on over. Move it on over. Move over, old dog, 'cause a new dog's moving in. Not to play around, but I done let the deal go down, so pack it on over. Move it on over. Tote it on over. Move it on over. Move over, nice dog, 'cause a mad dog's moving in. She warned me once, she warned me twice, but I don't take no one's advice. So scratch it on over, move it on over. Shake it on over, move it on over. Move over, short dog, cause a tall dog's moving in. I'll be busy scratching, please. So slide it on over, move it on over. Sneak it on over, move it on over. Move over, good dog, cause a mad dog's moving in. Remember, pup, before you whine, that side yours and this side mine. So shove it on over, move it on over. Sweep it on over, move it on over. Move over, cold dog, cause a hot dog's moving in.
I was moving on over by Hank Williams Sr. And I talk about this all the time. I love a song that tells a great story. And there's something about this song. I don't know if it's because of the recording quality, the age of it, his voice. I don't know what it is. But I absolutely see it in my head as a cartoon, the way you would see like Foghorn Leghorn beating that poor dog's ass. You know what I'm saying? And that's the dog that I see too. You know, he comes in the house and he's like, you know, God damn it. And like talking to the dog too, like it's a human. Like, listen, that side of the bed is yours. This side is mine. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just such a great song. Now, I've never heard, I love George Thorogood, but I've never actually heard his version of the song. So I definitely need to check it out after this.
What's interesting about, I mean, it's very George Thorogood, but he recycles lyrics a lot more than this original version. Like, he doesn't go through all the different adjectives of the different kinds of dogs. Like,
right.
It's usually just like move over, little dog, the big dog's moving in. And this guy's just like, move over, plaid dog, the Paisley dog's coming in. Like,
move over, cold dog, the hot dog's in town. Yeah, I know.
It's such a creative song, and it's interesting you said about like moving over on a bed. I always pictured it moving into a doghouse.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of being facetious because there's a line when he says this side's yours and this side's mine. Like, when you
yeah.
I don't know if you ever had that conversation with your wife. And you're like, what side of the bed do you sleep on? You know what I mean? So then
I
you
think we both just kind of landed where we did.
Well, not me. That was a conversation, and then that's where you sleep for the rest of your life. Yeah,
pretty much.
Yeah, right? I remember once we decided just to flip to C, and we weren't okay with it.
No, that's not something that I am capable of doing. I can sleep on the other side of the bed when she's not there, but if she's there, like, I have a side of the bed, and that's where I go.
And that's where you're relegated to. And Hank's telling that dog, listen, you're on this side and I'm on that side. Yeah, I know. He says it. He says, this doghouse is small, but it's better than no house at all.
Yeah, yep.
It's so clever. And that's what I like the most about it. Is it's just a clever song.
It's clever. It's fun. It's a bad situation. Obviously, he's done something wrong, and his wife has kicked him out and go sleep in the doghouse tonight. First off, it's a very big doghouse. If you can fit a human and a dog in there, and there's enough for him to be able to look around. He's like this side of the bed in this doghouse, it belongs to me. So that's very impressive on its own. But
yeah, Hank was, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, he was a skinny guy, but I think he was a pretty tall guy. I'd say he's at least 6 foot. So that's something to be said. For, that doghouse must have been big. But then again, he's a country boy, so I imagine he had some big dogs too. Anyway, moving right along. Well, it's all downhill from here again.
Enough of this happy nonsense.
Yeah, I've had enough of this happy bullshit. No. The next track is another wonderful track, and it's entitled My Son Calls Another Man Daddy. It comes off of the 1954 Ramblin' Man album, and it is sure to be a banger and a hit with all the kids. So here it is,
It's like, don't bury the lead, dude. Like,
you know, I don't know what that means.
I'm talking about like this when he named the song, like, you know, although I guess I don't know exactly what this means. Like, is the kid not his, or is it that, you know, his wife left him and took the kid, and now he calls another man daddy? I don't know. I don't know because I don't know the song. I am ready to understand the story, other than just knowing that it's probably not a happy one.
Chris, I love and appreciate you so much. This is My Son Calls Another Man's Daddy by Hank Williams Sr. Enjoy.
Tonight my head is bowed in sorrow. I can't keep the tears from my eyes. My son calls another man daddy. The right to his love I've been denied. My son calls another man daddy. He'll never know my name nor my face. God only knows how it hurts me for another to be in my place. Each night I laid there in prison, I pictured a future so bright. For he was the one ray of sunshine that showed through the darkest of night. Today his mother shares a new love. She just couldn't stand my disgrace. My son calls another man daddy and longs for the love he can't replace. My son calls another man daddy. He'll never know my name nor my face. God only knows how it hurts me for another to be in my place.
Well, that answers that. The dude was in jail.
Nailed it.
Damn.
Nailed it.
I'm just like cruising along like, okay, so maybe he's going to be a little vague about it. He's just like, I was in prison. It's like, oh, okay. Well, put too fine a point on it, but that answers that question. All right, then. I'm sorry, but at least your kid's got somebody else in his life. I don't know. What are you in prison for?
He's got a positive male figure in his life.
Who's not incarcerated.
And it's not you. Yeah. Can I put a pause here and say that I find exhausted, sleepy Chris to be the best co-host? So Chris is exhausted and my body hurts to a degree at which I cannot explain. And we are I don't think it's okay to pull the curtain back and expose things, but we have to for this episode. This episode is a masterclass in, it looks like you guys have never done this before. So it's been a lot of fun. And then this track list just I don't know. It just keeps sending it home and I really love it. I'm totally here to just like ruin everyone's day. I don't know. in our game, oh my god. Or in our cases, our evenings. Anyway, we'll keep this lonesome train rolling onto the penultimate song for us, Chris. We will be listening to next, in parentheses, I heard that, close parentheses, Lonesome Whistle Blow off of the 1954 Ramblin' Man release. And I'm going to press play right now, so enjoy.
I was riding number 9, heading south from Caroline. I heard that long wow, wow, some whistle blow. Got in trouble, had to roam, left my gal and left my home. I heard that long wow, wow, some whistle blow. Just a kid acting smart, I went and broke my darling's heart. I guess I was too young to know. They took me off the Georgia main, locked me to a ball and chain. I heard that long wow, wow, some whistle blow. All alone I bear the shame, I'm a number, not a name. I heard that long wow, wow, some whistle blow. All I do is sit and cry when the evening train goes by. I heard that long wow, wow, some whistle blow. I'll be locked here in this cell till my body's just a shell and my hair turns whiter than snow. I'll never see that gal of mine. Lord, I'm in Georgia doing time. I heard that long wow, wow, some whistle blow.
As if a continuation from the previous song's storyline, that was I Heard That Lonesome Whistle Blow by Hank Williams Sr. There's something about that novelty that just, I love it. It's so hokey, but it's so intrinsically Hank Williams Sr.
Yeah, it's I have nothing coherent to add. It was
that might be the best way to explain everything incoherently.
Yeah, it was definitely from the guy who wrote all those other songs.
Chris, this is
not stylistically different, but it's still enjoyable. He made a funny little noise with his mouth. That was fun.
It's called singing, Chris. No, it's true. Kind of one of the hardest parts about putting a Hank Williams Sr. episode together is that there's a lot of songs that really just kind of sound like a lot of his other songs. There was one song I now forget what it was I was gonna put, and I listened to I forget the original song. So let's just say song A and song B. I had them both on my list. I listened to song A one last time, and I thought, yeah, this one's definitely going on. I immediately listened to song B right after, and I went, wait, this sounds exactly like song A, cadence and all. So, and then I'm going to say, as a giant Johnny Cash fan, even Johnny Cash is a little victim of that too. There's some guitar lines that sound very similar to other guitar lines you've written and stuff like that. But, it was a simpler time. Anyway, that being said, here's our final song of the evening. Another wonderfully uplifting track about heartache. The song is called Take These Chains From My Heart, and it comes again off of the Ramblin' Man record from 1954. One last time, here's Hank Williams Sr. with Take These Chains From My Heart. Enjoy.
Take these chains from my heart and set me free. You've grown cold and no longer longer care for me. All my faith in you is gone, but the heartaches linger on. Take these chains from my heart and set me free. Take these tears from my eyes and let me see just a spark of the love that used to be. If you love somebody new, let me find a new love too. Take these chains from my heart and set me free. Give my heart just a word of sympathy. Be as fair to my heart as you can be. Then if you no longer care for the love that's beating there, take these chains from my heart and set me free. Take these chains from my heart and set me free. You've grown cold and no longer care for me. All my faith in you is gone, but the heartaches linger on. Take these chains from my heart and set me free.
As the man said, take these chains from my heart. The man, of course, Hank Williams Sr. off the Ramblin' Man, 1954. How many times can I say man in the span of 1 minute? Dan.
Man's band.
Nah, that didn't work. Chris, that's your name. One last time, how'd that grab you?
Just, I mean, it's weird saying that something that was such a general degree of sadness is delightful, but that's what it is. It's delightful. It is comforting, delightful music. It just makes you want to sit in a rocking chair and enjoy a warm beverage by a fireplace or something. It's just nice music. And I liked it. I liked this whole darn episode. I was really looking forward to it. When I heard like the little snippets from here and there of like, okay, this is music that is really outside of my wheelhouse, but it sounds like something that would be on the radio in a Tom and Jerry cartoon or something. I was very happy to listen to it.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. I mean, I have to agree with you. It definitely has that vibe of it would be in the background of an old Looney Tunes cartoon or something. There's no doubt that, you know, someone like Yosemite Sam and Foghorn Leghorn were kind of loosely based off of these kinds of characters and stuff. And I can certainly see like the animation of Chuck Jones, you know, as the subject of the music video in my head for tracks like this. This particular track, Take These Chains From My Heart, I mean, there's something so wonderful about these lyrics. You know, a man who is in a relationship of some kind where his partner has stopped reciprocating the love that he has, and it's just like, just friggin' let me go. Like, if you're not in love with me, just let me go, and so this hurting can stop, and I can find someone who will reciprocate. It's just a wonderful, beautiful song. The Hank Williams Sr. music is music that I find it's like a bottle of whiskey music. You kind of sit around, you listen to it by yourself, and you have a nice whiskey neat, or in my case, with an ice cube, and you just kind of. You have those feelings that, you know, men were told to swallow. And it's funny because, like you said, Hank Williams is over here singing about emotions and feelings that men traditionally don't talk about. Now, today's modern man is very different, and I think Hank Williams deserves a resurgence, but that's besides the point. I also think they should reinstate Hank Williams, but they're not gonna, so I think that's the most fucking rock and roll thing ever. The man drank himself out of a job and a position in country music's most prestigious, quote unquote prestigious place of accolades and annals and of time. And somehow or another, he's probably way more popular than it actually is, and he's probably better off being outside, And for the record, he joins a very small group of people. And of course, I have deleted that list. He joins a very small list. Jerry Lee Lewis was banned because he dropped an F-bomb live on the air. So good for you, Jerry Lee Lewis. Don Gibson, Kitty Wells, George Morgan, Billy Grammer, the Jordanaires, Justin Tubbs, Stonewall Jackson, and Chet Atkins. Chet Atkins incidentally played backing on some Hank tracks. And speaking of backing, I'd be remiss if I didn't kind of give a shout out to Hank Williams' backing band, the Drifting Cowboys. Or excuse me, it's his Drifting Cowboys. Hank Williams with his Drifting Cowboys. A lot of the backing band was the Drifting Cowboys, but that also was kind of a revolving door of musicians too. Too many to name, but I digress. Chris, I'm very happy that you enjoyed the episode. I hope, despite all the joking about how morose and uplifting and, all that sarcasm and shenanigans, I hope I got to showcase why Hank Williams Sr. is considered, one of the Mount Rushmore faces of country music, let alone, I don't know, I think some modern music. I think there's a lot of crossover to his, crossover appeal, rather, to his talent and his songwriting. So I'm really glad you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, this is really outside of my wheelhouse. It's a new kind of thing for me that I have a new appreciation for. So thank you very much for bringing it to the table.
That's why we do this, right? It's my pleasure. And we here at Turning Tracks are incredibly grateful to everyone who listens, and we love communicating with you whenever we can. And we have a couple ways that we can do that, or at least you can do that. There's the Geek Aid Discord channel, in which we have a Turning Tracks chat, where we hope to discord all manner of stuff relating to music and whatever our next episodes are going to be. And of course, you can always send us mail at geekade.com. That's mail at geekade.com. While you're at it, check out all our other social media channels, which you should totally like, follow, and subscribe to if you haven't already. And I always ask you, if you haven't, what is wrong with you? Turning Tracks and other Geek Aid podcasts are made possible thanks to the Geek Aid Patreon page. There, patrons can get access to a monthly podcast topic and recording schedule, get early access to most of Geek Aid's shows, including this one, and more. I do apologize if this doesn't make the schedule. I am in the process of moving an entire house. That's right, I'm Superman and I'm moving a physical house. No, I'm just kidding. If you've enjoyed our podcast over the years, follow the link in the description and give it a look. We really appreciate it. And finally, as always, be sure to check out all the other great content we have on our site over at geekade.com. Once again, that's geekade.com. Chris, this is my favorite part of the episode. I lied, it's my second favorite part of the episode. Chris, what is going to be our next episode?
That is a great question that I have been wrestling with this entire time. Like,
I love
had
wrestling.
A couple of thoughts of what my next episode was going to be, and like, do I want to do just an incredibly hard shift to something so completely different, or do I want to do something that I can just about guarantee you've never heard of before? That's kind of an interesting bridge with just like a twinge of country, but also maybe not. Like, I just don't know where exactly I want to land.
Man. Just do it. Just do it, man. Do it. You got this. Do it.
Okay. For my first pick of 2025, I am going to go with the immortal Argyle Johansson.
I have no idea who that is. Congratulations.
Argyle Johansson is, you know what? I'm not going to expand on it.
No.
I'm not going to expand on it. I will say that it is somebody that is not making music under that name anymore, but there was a brief period of time where they were, and I was just listening to it while I was out walking the dog the other day, and I thought, I still really love this music. So I'm going to try to put together a track list of Argyle Johansson songs so that we can listen to them on the show next week. It's got a twinge of country, just a twinge. Mm-hmm. It's not quite Hank Williams, considerably more modern, and it's a fun story. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There's your homework. Argyle Johansson. Good luck tracking it down.
Oh no, I closed my script. Argyle Johnson, right?
Argyle Johansson.
Thank you. Argyle Johansson. Argyle Johansson it is. I can't even say the name properly. I'm so excited. I'm the name alone has me so curious, but I'm not one to do homework, so I will be completely surprised when we get into it. Well, anyway, that being said, it's time for the final song we're gonna part you with, and that made no sense, but you know what? It's the end of the night, and Chris and I are both tired. So, this song is called "I'll Never Get Out of This World Alive." You really thought I was gonna leave you on an upbeat one, huh? You don't know me very well. You know, I like to do a dedication at the end, just like the old radio programs. This one is really just for everyone to realize, you know, life can be really short. And we tend as human beings to take things for granted, and we take people for granted. And yes, there is an ebb and flow to life. But there are people that are constant, and I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I think it's in everyone's best interest just to, you know, let them know. Just once in a while, let them know what they mean to you. And at the same time, do your best to live your best life, whatever that looks like. So, that being said, from Chris and myself and Turning Tracks, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, whatever that looks like. And we will see you next time.
Now you're looking at a man that's getting kind of mad. I had a lot of luck, but it's all been bad. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive. My fishing pole's broke, the creek is full of sand. My woman run away with another man. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive. My distant uncle passed away and left me quite a batch. And I was living high until the fatal day. A lawyer proved I wasn't born, I was only hatched. Everything's against me and it's got me down. If I jumped in the river, I would probably drown. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive. Shabby shoes I'm wearing all the time is full of holes and nails. And brother, if I stepped on a worn out dime, I bet a nickel I could tell you if it was heads or tails. I'm not gonna worry wrinkles in my brow, 'cause nothing's ever gonna be alright no how. No matter how I struggle and strive, I'll never get out of this world alive.